What's going on, Swarm City? Nice to see you guys in another Dead by Daylight video. This time, I decided to do a DBD tier list, guys. I just want to know, might get some roasted in the comments. This is personally why I feel that the killers are off the power-wise, how they play, how the survivor team's playing. So it's pretty much just based off all that. Pre-update, update now to killer. Yeah, killer is buffed and Dead by Daylight now. It's not as bad as people think it is. It's still a great killer, a good killer, a good or great killer can still get steamrolled by a great team that's efficient and just pumps gens. They'll still right now behavior insinuating, hey, you guys need to rush gens before the killer can actually kill you. Essentially what the meta shift into. So with this being said, this all counts onto this tier list right here, and some of them you guys might disagree with, you guys might agree with, but this is just my personal opinion. This is my first tier list of many. This is just all this is going on from why I put these guys here. No bias whatsoever, just how I feel. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the content, enjoy this video. Nurse, again, you guys know how I feel with Nurse. Nurse is definitely S tier, 100%. S tier, she breaks everything in the game. A good nurse, I say great nurse, unless you're a good survivor yourself. Even if you are great nurses, she's just hard to go against, especially Dead Hard's nerfed, so she's definitely the top tier killer. And then here's my second S tier killer, guys. And just to let you guys know, guys, this is all based off of she's not S tier, she's C tier at best. To reason why I put Blight, Nurse and Blight back to back. And again, let me start off from why. Before we get into more in depth, I'm gonna start from why I choose the stuff I choose, or why my opinions will be. This is based off of like I said, guys. This is based off of personal preference, opinion on a casual player, and again with a comp tier list in the future, you guys will see how things will be changing compared to this one. But this is just me, my personal preference, and why, and obviously, a good Blight. Good nurse, but good. They're really hard to beat. Then we got the Spirit, guys, and she's in my opinion, she's S tier because even before this update, the reason why I put her 3 on the S tier charts is because of a good Spirit with the analyzer in her headset can hear everything. Now, even though that Iron Will is nerfed, they can run Strider with a Sanalyzer, you know what I'm talking about, in the headset to buff the volume even more. Then can be on the survivor's ass like ASAP. So again, she'll be third behind Blight for me. I have Blight number 2, Spirit number 3. Number 4, you guys can this is a little different. I have 4 S tier killers, and the reason why I'm gonna put this killer in the in S tier for 4 would be where's she at? Let me see where she's at. Where is she at? Here she is. Hag. Yeah, thank you. Hag. Okay, so it probably like, what, Aaron, Hag gets destroyed by a good team. Yes, Hag will get destroyed by a good team, but since they had the new Hex boon thing to get rid of snuff out the boons, you can run that on her. That can stop the boons. Yes, a good team that knows how to harass a Hag, it would definitely destroy her. Again, the reason why she's an S tier for me, like I said, because a great Hag, you're not beating them because they're really territorial. If the player is really good in their territory and defending it, again, if they have flanklins or flashlight, they will be in trouble because again they can just bring flanklins to knock out the flashlight out of their hands. So pretty much, again, even the flashlights can negate her power, but she has a perk that can do that. That's my S tier, guys. How you guys feel about the S tier so far? A personal preference, this is what I have off pressure, guys, of how much this killer can get pressure, like Blight, like Nurse, like Spirit, like Hag, depending on how the player plays, depending on how the survivor players are playing. I'm going to put Oni at the top of A tier, just because of his snowball potential is so there, and it's like a great Oni that can flick and know how to use his demon dash. Would definitely shit on you. Even if you go against a good team, again, any killer can get shitted on by a great team. A good killer can even do that, great killer, whatever. But again, we're just saying if the Oni's playing off his ass and the survivor players are making a lot of mistakes or something, you guys know what I'm talking about. Still, his power and all that generosity, I'll make him a high A tier. Huntress, I'll put her second. Again, that was between her and another killer I had. I was having a little bit like, you guys know what I'm saying, like I was having like, do I want to do this or I don't? But I would put Oni and Huntress back to back. Huntress, she has a great map presence with all these Aurorium perks in this game now. You got Flood Your Rage. You have the new buff Lethal Pursuer mixed out with all these Aurorium perks that's out there. I can't name everyone off the top of my head, but she can, if a good Huntress is good, they can snipe you across the map and nothing you can do. Like, they just snipe across the map, and even if they're trying, again, a good Huntress or a great Huntress like that could definitely snowball. Just being that what killer can stay on the side of the map and just chuck hatchets at you from across the map? You know what I'm saying? So again, a great Huntress, I'll put her second behind Oni. That comes to a third because I was struggling with this as well, and since you brought it up. Guess what's next, guys? I will put Twins next. I was a little bit, even though you guys know how I feel about Twins. Again, this is pretty much not bias related. It's pretty much of how I look at, like I said, the power, the ability of the killer itself, to how well the killer plays, how well the team is playing, the Survivor team. All this my opinion is based off of. There's no bias involved. The reason why I put Twins 3 because you got little Vicky Dicky. That's out there that can pounce on you, and a heartbeat, a good Victor, just like a good Demogorgon with his pounce, with his shred ability, or pounce, what they call it, pounce and not shred, but a pounce ability can definitely get. Plus they got some add-ons that if they miss, like the Tor Sword, I think the Tor Sword makes his kick ability less, but I'll put him third. I'll put them third in A tier, but I will not put them in S tier though. I see some tier lists with Twins in S tier. The reason why, and the reason why, because this will go with, even though this is my personal tier list, is why I had them at third A tier. Now this killer right here, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of torn. I would say Deathslinger next. The reason why I put Deathslinger there, because going by to what I think was what Duck was saying. Again, he is a killer that you have to use, like, he has a gun. So anybody that plays shooters, I know it's differently on DBD with everything, but with people that know how to play shooters in general, if they can adapt the power of Deathslinger, you can go up against a pretty nasty Deathslinger. Yes, they nerf his ALS. Yes, they nerf his terror radius. He can't be up your backyard before you can say butterscotch and snipe you from the generator. So that's the reason why I would put him in fourth on the A tier over the other guys. Personal preference, again, because Deathslinger he takes a lot to play, and it's really hard to master. Like, I'm not good with him. I'm not good with ALS. Players that will be able to handle him real nice. Plus, you can use Monitor and Abuse to even lower his terror radius down more, even though they nerfed his terror radius from how low it was. You can still one Monitor and Abuse to make his terror radius lower. So. And the A tier, I would, like I said, it's gonna come down to it. Like, I'm really torn with this killer. These two killers I have in mind, chat. But I just can't ignore this killer with their power, and the pressure that they can get. I'm gonna go with Plague, guys. Personally. That this can wrap off my A tier right here. So I will put Plague in at the end of A tier, because again, you can still cleanse. She's still good. She's valid. In my opinion, she is A tier. In my opinion, she's A tier. You can, again, her downfall is if smart survivors with her pulls on some maps and RNG can screw her over, she doesn't get her corruption, and the pulls can be out wide on the edge of the map where she has no business being. Survivors that are smart will cleanse no matter what. Again, like I said, another counter to Plague is cleanse as much as you want. Just don't cleanse in the obvious area where she can go get it. Cleanse at the edge of the maps. Cleanse where you know she has to go out of her way to go get it if she wants to go get it. And it costs her valid time. Even with the new killer buffs, this is just in general, even with the new killer buffs, she still can, again, any killer can use shit on at any time against any great Survivor team. So I'll put it at the end of A, almost B tier. So again, you won't go wrong. I could go at high B here. She could go here, but we could just for the sake of it, and knowing that she can be really oppressive, we'll put at the end of A, higher B. for B tier. This is no bias included. This is what again, like I said, no bias in this. But this is where I see this at. Plague is good for pressure and cleanse at the same time. Exactly, she is. But like I said, pools can be at the edge of the maps, and nothing the Plague player can do. Nothing she can do. She's pretty much M1 killer at that point. That's why she's at the end of A. Again, wouldn't argue if she was, again, I wouldn't argue putting her at high B either, just because of those reasons and why she ends out my A tier. No bias here. But I have a soft spot for this killer. I would put Billy at high B here, guys, personally. I know you guys say, Aaron, Billy is dog shit. Billy should be C tier. Let me explain why I have him at high B there. Again, there's not a lot of good Billies out there, but the ones that takes the time, I know they have Destroy Billy behavior, has nerf. Billy should be C tier, Aaron. Yeah, I know. But personally, I have him at high B. I always loved Billy's when I first started playing the game, the OG, when I first started playing before they nerfed him to the ground. Even him being nerfed, have gone against Uncle Stan Banana. The guy is cracked. Chainsaw only Billy. He's very amazing person. Very amazing Billy at that. Even GT Val is really good. You guys have heard about him too. So it's like, again, good survivors. Even if you're a good killer, can still beat a good Billy. But the reason why I have Billy at B tier, because he can still get pressure. His mobility is still there, even with the overheat mechanic. He can still get pressure. He can still down you with his saw. He has like a lot of add-ons that you can go silent chainsaw. You can bring Tinker on top of that. You got low pro chains. You can go through pallets with your chainsaw and collect the health state if you're good. So I would say it's all based off skill, but Billy will be at my high B. And coming in second on B tier, guys, you guys know, you have guessed it, my main killer, the Demogorgon. Demogorgon, he has a lot of high mobility out there. High mobility from map to map to map. If the Demogorgon player can set up his portals in the beginning of the game, his portals are very reliant on how the player plays them. You don't use his portals, you will struggle. Like what you guys just saw last round. I struggled. I had one bad chase, and I didn't have portal set, I had two. And I lost with the 1K because I didn't have the mobility. Again, high mobility, really good pressure with his shred. He can shred you at pallets. He can zone you really well. He can hit you through pretty much anything. Again, the way to do it is just mind game, 50-50. Is he going to fake it? Is he going to do it? Pretty much put Demogorgon and behind Billy. There they are. I would say Nemesis. I will put in. I'll put 3. And the reason why I put Nemesis there, because again, how many times have you guys been on indoor maps or been on a map in general against Nemesis? And you have the zombies that are causing more pressure than the killer itself. He has zombies that can be shit or they can be bad. And again, if they're bad, still typical 1M1 killer, but I would still put him in the third slot of B tier because he has a whip that can hit you from 90 miles. When he gets up to tier 2 to tier 3, it's even longer. You'd be looking at this and say, that does not hit me, but it hits you over the pallet. What can you do? He's another zone killer that you can use your whip to zone survivors, and you can just go for it and rip them as well. If they throw it, they die. If they don't throw it, they die. I'll put him right there in third. A whip, yeah. Which you guys talked about it. This is where I would personally put my Pyramid Head. Pyramid, like you guys said, he can neglect tunnel, like he can neglect DS, but since DS is already nerfed, it doesn't really matter. It does. That's why he's so low on my tier list, because it doesn't matter. DS is nerfed. DS is nerfed into the ground, so it doesn't matter. You can still tunnel regardless of putting people in the cage. He's really good with using his M2. If you're good with his M2 abilities, you can zone with that. You can send people to the gulag, which get no bar time, no off the record. That's the new thing as well. He can ignore all that, but still, I'll put him at the end of B tier just because of he can still. Right now, killers are being incentivized into tunnel and camp even more, so it really doesn't matter what killer you play. DS is only 3 seconds. You can get away with a lot of stuff, especially Pyramid Head. He can eat the DS and still get you down in some aspects of the map, even if he eats the DS or not. B tier, guys. To round out of the B tier here, this was up in the air, guys. But we had to do it because he can still get pressure. he can still he can still get pressure, and he still can be really good. And he has the ability where he can camp you to death. I'm gonna put around that bubble with the end of B tier, guys. B tier here personally. Again, like I said, he can throw you in basement, bam, and just insidious camp you. You can't do nothing. He can just down survivors. He has 2 add-ons that he can just go for miles and miles on end. Like he can just like chainsaw through survivors like they're going out of style. The only reason why I would put Bubba end of B tier, with all that being said, with all the good stuff about him, is because, again, like I said, for all these killers, any good team can destroy them. All you got to do is just have you have your runner split up on all gens, and just, again, because now the meta's shifting for survivors to work together as a team, bring gem perks, work to incentivize to work as a team, not an individual with like DS, data hard like that used to be. Like, it used to be DS data hard selfishness back before before this update. So with that being said, behaviors like, yo, you guys need to work as survivor players. You need to work as a team to take down this killer, essentially, with not doing anything to prove thyself, buffing overzealous, getting all these gem perks to where even though that gens takes 90 seconds, shut up Siri, even though that gens take 90 seconds, survivors can still bang gens out one by one, and the Bubba sometimes can lack pressure by doing that, even though that he's a chainsaw with all the things the same. So that rounds out a B tier, guys. How you guys feel so far about my tier list so far? C tier, since you mentioned it, Zarina, I'll tell you guys why I put him C tier. There's a reason why I have him in C tier. Yeah, you could argue he could go here. He could go there. I don't think nobody will argue if he probably went here where Billy was. And the reason why I put Wraith C tier, even though that he has mobility, even though he has mobility and he gets into cloak, because not every Wraith, I think a lot of people would. The reason why I would put Wraith in C tier, just because of some Wraiths, again, his power is to catch up to survivors real quick. We catch up to survivors real quick. But some of them, like, they will misplay something, like, and still, again, the Wraith, he's really good. Like I said, don't get me wrong, he's really good. Again, I wouldn't argue if you say he's the end of B, or he's middle of B, or he's maybe like the end of A. I wouldn't argue that. Just my point across is, some Wraiths don't know how the body block windows when you uncloak. Now every Wraith knows that. And again, at the end of the day, a good survivor can still run away. He's still one killer. Yeah, he can catch up to you, but can you get that hit? I'm going to big differ. I'm going to go my tier list. I will put Trapper second in C tier. Again, a good strong Trapper. Again, basement. He can still do basement real well. You can cut down a basement with a Trapper, trap up the entrance. You're screwed. Or trap around the shack, wherever the basement is, and you're kind of you're kind of screwed. But still, he said M1 kill at the end of the day. He still can get looped. He takes a lot of time to set up. Even though that I wouldn't argue with anybody that says Trapper's here. I wouldn't argue with anybody if they say Trapper's here, guys. I would not argue that. I would not have an argument with you, because I agree. But I think off the ability of hey, you gotta take the time to set up traps, even though the gens take 90 seconds. Again, survivors are incentivized now. Like I said, again, going with Wraith 2 is incentivized to work together as a team to get all the gens done within 90 seconds. They can get gens. They can get 3 gens done before you get your first down, because you have to set up. Even with that's when Corrupted Invention comes into play. This is why I use Corrupted Invention. But yeah, I would have Trapper second. I would say Pinhead. Pinhead would be 3 on my tier list personally. Why? Pin has, let's talk about good. Pin has ability where he can get map pressure, awareness, pressure just ASAP with the box if survivors are not careless. Survivors that are good and can know when to go for the box play and stop his slowdown in the game. Pinheads will struggle. He will be an M1 killer at the end of the day. They will go ahead and do his boxes on time before he can get a chain hunt off, unless he runs perks to consume that, to be able to chase every survivor that has a box with Franklin's to drop them or bring Hoarder. But at the end of the day, he can be shut down of his power where he cannot get his ability to get the chain to hunt across the whole map for the pressure. Add-on that has an area that he can injure you with the chains, very good, but you have to be a good pinhead. Too many heads. Pinhead, and again, that's the case. Then you can argue, well, Aaron, he could be at between these. He could probably put him over Bubba at that point, just because of that. But again, for the sake of, because his chain ability to hit you with his chain through his vortex or through his portal, through the blue gate, it's not easy as it sounds. It really takes a lot of effort and energy to do that, and know how to use his insta loop ability. He's not easy. Guys guessed it. I will put Ghostface. I'll put Ghostface. Again, a lot of people. Again, on YouTube, I can see the comments going to shred me. Ghostface should be B tier. What the fuck is Billy doing in B tier, bro? Why is he beginning a B tier? Okay, like I said, Ghostface. Yes, he's cute and all. Who doesn't like a good Ghostface, Maury, with the Venture's camera? But let's be realistic. Let's be realistic here, guys. Let's be realistic. He is M1 killer. He can stalk you. Yes, he got a little bit of a buff. He got add-ons where he can get his power back. Where before he didn't have that, where he gets stunned by a pallet. Again, cost you to run an add-on. Again, a good survivor team would, if a person is stalked, they can't break you out of stalk. The person that's stalked is getting chased by Ghostface. They can't bring him out no longer. That's a plus. But you can also have, again, it's like going with the Victor thing. You can have an escort that's hidden somewhere that can break him out for the survivor that's being stalked or was stalked. That's one shot now. That can see his red stain and try to outplay him with using his red stain. And then, again, obviously, he could go down on that. Again, at the end of the day, he's M1 killer with the power to insta-down survivors if survivors misplay. Survivors play that well. He can definitely be hard. He can definitely have a hard time on some of these maps and loops against certain survivor players and teams. Michael right here next. Michael was my next choice. It's just because of Michael's is very slow. Very slow. Let's say do a buff to him, he will go up high. Up on my tier list. He will go higher on my tier list. And so that day comes, if that ever comes, he will be right here behind Ghostface, just because Michael's power takes forever. He needs to use multiple slowdowns, including corrupt. Even with the new buff, even though the new buff killer, Michael can be held out of his power for a majority of the match, and could be a struggle to get his tier 2 off survivors if they play it well and they stay hidden, quote unquote, well. So I will put this where I'm comfortable putting Myers this where. This is the reason why Myers is right here on my list. God, it's getting hairier and hairier. I would put Frederick. Next. Frederick, yo, what's up, Kaiser? Frederick really got nerfed into the ground when he used to be Forever Freddy. He has mobility to be able to teleport to gens, to kick gens, and be able to pressure the map with his mobility. But at the end of the day, M1 killer, and just some maps he struggles on. But this is where I would put him personally, even with the new killer buffs. Again, with anything right here, you don't have to be good. Again, survivors can, again, they're smart. They can split up. If they play bad, it's all based off of how good is the killer player, how good is the survivor players playing, and how well they're efficient on gens. They're fooling around, yeah. The killer one, obviously, but yeah. Go on next. Again, this killer, they really got a good buff in even to the again, you guys obviously, well, Aaron, they should be over Freddy Myers maybe, but Legion really is not a strong kill like people think that they are. No offense to any Legion mains in here. I'm sorry, I love you guys. Again, I'll put Legion on. I'll put Legion next on the map, just because of they could pressure multiple survivors at one time with their frenzy power, and can instant down you with five with 5 hits at the end, and a lot of people have complained with the 5 hits, which is not that strong. Again, Legion is really not that good in general. If you're a good team and you spread out on the generators, they cannot get their 5th hit. They will not be able to. And then if they're in their frenzy and you know that the survivor's next to you, so that they don't chain their frenzy, camp the pallet. They're gonna do the little Legion dance, saying that you're gonna throw it. And if you just sit there, and you just eat the M1, throw the pallet, and end their frenzy, bam. They can't chain their frenzy, guys. They're useless. They're M1 killer at that point. Yeah, the killers are buffed. I understand that. But they're still M1 on some of these maps. They're M1 killer only with no power, and they will get demonetized by any survivor team that is more efficient than they are. Because if they play it if the team is playing it that way and they can't chain their hits, Legion ain't gonna do jack. This is why I had the Legion right here. And the reason why, and I'm explaining why I put her here, would be it was Kaiser guessed it. I put Birdie in C tier just because of she has long range. She has long range, but let's talk about good things. She has long range ability that can snipe survivors off generators, or that can snipe survivors in general. She can set up crows on pallets. She can destroy set up bird to stop a pallet again, and if she has to put multiple birds to for the survivor to take damage, or if the survivor is close to the bird, like if they're up on the bird, they can take damage. I believe so. Kaiser can correct me if I'm wrong there. If I'm wrong, Trickster's a killing machine. I'm getting there. But yeah, I'll put for the negatives on her. Again, hold W, break SOL. Her power is hard to learn if you don't know what you're doing. She takes time and energy to do so. And again, you have to sometimes predict the survivor and know what they're going to do. And if they're a decent survivor, they're going to try to be doing some weird stuff, and you're not going to be able to guess them. And it'll be hard to get like cross-map snipes, even with all these aura perks out there. Just her power, in my opinion, is very hard for people that don't know what they're doing. For the ones that know what they're doing, you can argue she could be at the end of B tier. She could be a beginning of C tier. Again, personally, I would have her here towards end of C tier, just because of those reasons. And again, you can just hold Shift W, and you can outplay the killer here, guys. To wrap out the C tier here, I would put Trickster. I would put him at the end. Again, he's a 4.4 killer. Yes, you can argue, well, Aaron Hunter says 4.4, but I'm getting there. Trickster, yeah, he's a killer machine. If he gets you at loops that are just not good for you as survivor, you will go down to this man if he's good. Then you got some maps where you got like Disturbed Ward, you got Father's Camel's Chapel, you got Ormond, you got all these. Even though Ormond is nerfed, all you gotta do is run the main build, and if he chases that, his power is neglected on the loop that the survivor's playing, and his power is dog shit. His power is so ass and shit that sometimes you get no value out of that power. Personally. So when survivors go to a big loop or whatever, you sometimes have to just W key that to get to them. He's good against survivors, like I said, that are caught in open land, and they don't have no safe anywhere. On Auto Haven maps, he's good there because you got the low hanging loops. If he's good with throwing his knives at you, you will go down. Personally, this is why I think he fits the end of C tier, just because of those reasons. He can get outplayed so much more than the killers ahead of him, I think, because his power, like I said, is dog ass with his main event. Personally, guys, you guys are probably gonna hate me for this, but I love you guys, and I always will love you. I would put Dredge at the top of D tier. The reason why I put Dredge at the top of D tier, yeah, he's good. Aaron, he should be higher. I would not disagree with that. But the reason why he's beginning of D tier, guys, is because, again, he can outplay you at loops with his ability. He can leave a husk and go back to that husk and get a hit. But it all depends on how the survivor plays that. If the survivor's smart enough, because sometimes Dredge, I have noticed Dredge players will will jump the gun instead of forcing the survivors into his little like, I don't know, his little like teleportation thingy, whatever, the husk thingy majiggy babber, where they will see the survivor do a mind fake, because I've done it lots of times to a dredge, to our fake going to the husks. I see it, bam, I stay put, he teleports back around, bam, I get the pallet, bam, nothing he could do. I outplayed him. He thought he outplayed me, but I outplayed him. So depends on how the survivor players plays it. His ability can easily be beaten, but he does have ability to where he can teleport in darkness across the map to give unlimited pressure to the survivor team if he plays it right, and if the survivor players play it wrong. But still, at the end of the day, he's an M1 killer, and like I said, it's all based on how the survivors play with his husk ability, because he can still get outplayed even though if he set one up on a loop. Short loops, he will eat graciously if the survivors mess up by a hair. They have to play almost perfectly. But if not, if they mess up, he gets a hit. Anywhere else, unless there's a locker, he can teleport that. But if you're smart, you can just double. You can definitely just say, okay, he teleported. If you know what he's doing, if you're paying attention and you're a smart survivor, bam, he's teleporting that locker, he's teleporting in front of me, bam, just go back the other way. There you go, get all that distance. Now he has to catch up to you, and he wastes more of his time. So that's why I have him at the high of the beginning of D tier. Put Doctor next, guys. I put Doctor next. Again, I know Dylan. No offense, Dylan. I love you, brother. I know you can argue a good Doctor can go up to end of B, maybe like somewhere out here in C tier. The reason why he's in D tier is because of. First, let me talk about his goodness. A great doctor like Dylan himself can know how to stop a survivor at a loop, especially short loops. He dominates. He can get hits. He can stop you from dropping that pallet, and he can get downs and hits. Just the issue is the latency of the server and towards the survivor of the killer. Sometimes the survivor can press space and get the pallet drop before he does his anti-loop. Again, making him an M1 killer if he doesn't have an anti-loop. And then they can get the winner vote past that before he can do that, waste more of his time. So technically he's M1 killer. But all in all, he's a great killer when played correctly and can be oppressive in the right hands, in the right mindset, and the right player at right times. That's what any of these killers. Maps the factor as well. Some maps is stronger than others. We got, like I said, Distort Board, Follows Cameras Chapel. It can be pain for Doctor player if they don't know what they're doing. Again, good ones against a good team. Could be evenly balanced match, but even a good team can beat a good Doctor any days if they play it right. This is where I feel that personally where Doctor should be is behind the dredge in D tier. So the next killer I would say I would put Clown. The reason why, so Clown is the third D tier killer. Yes, a strong Clown like Kemsey can dominate you, can dominate any team. But the issue with Clown is bottle placements. If you don't know how to place your bottles, you will struggle. You will struggle as Clown. I don't care. With the buffs, you will struggle. Again, M1 killer. Don't know how to place your bottles. They can dodge the bottles, as well as like what Serena said. You can dodge Doc's ability too. But a great Clown will shit on you. I wouldn't argue with you guys if you put Clown over Trapper, over Pinhead. I wouldn't argue. He could, at best, he is probably in somebody else's tier list, he's C tier, but in my tier list, he's D tier just because of those reasons. It takes a lot to throw his bottles and hit them on target. It's not easy because I can't do it. Again, I think that he's M1 killer in some of the loops. Again, he still struggles on some loops, even with his bottles at disposal. So he will be my third D tier killer. For between these two, I'll put Pig D tier. I'm assuming Duck is probably already riding. Pig would be the reason why I wouldn't put Pig. The reason why, again, a lot of you guys could argue, well, Aaron, Sadako should be over Pig. The reason why Pig is over Sadako is because Pig can still get some pressure with this new update that's compared to previously. Pig has more of a dash ability that can be used, and the good Pig player can use her dash to ability to be able to shut some loops down that is really manageable. Again, Distort Board, we keep saying the Fire Cameras Chapel, she can get totally dookied because she's M1 killer, and survivors that are smart can just hold W, run away. Her ability is dog cheeks. She crouches down. You know, if you're a smart survivor, not to camp the pallet and run away from the loop. But all in all, she has a good power when it comes to survivors that are not paying attention, getting caught. Can M1 you, can use this new killer buff with a stack to save the best for last. Make that 10, by the way. For that, if that gets nerfed into the ground or gets nerfed in the future, she can have 10 stacks to save the best for last and still duke on you. But again, at the end of the day, she's a M1 killer. Then to round out the tier list, we have the Sadako. Well, Sadako has no anti-loop whatsoever. Why I put her at the end is because she has no anti-loop. She's just an M1 killer that you got hold W, or all you can do is just mind game. Essentially, you can hide your red stain, use her ability on her, like her ability just to hide her terrorists, I guess, with add-ons or whatever, or manifestation, I should say, quote unquote. But she's really not a strong killer. I wouldn't argue if anybody put her end of C tier. You could make an argument because a good Sadako player can again we all go on ifs. If a survivor team is playing efficiently, Sadako can get shit on. But if the survivor player is not survivor team is not playing efficiently, the Sadako player can eat mashed potatoes and steak. That's what any of these kills. But anyways, guys, this wraps up my killer tier list.